The Ecclesia Gnostica, Latin for the Gnostic Church, is a modern religious movement that seeks to revive and integrate the mystical and philosophical traditions of ancient Gnosticism into a contemporary spiritual framework. Established in the 20th century, it is one of the most prominent expressions of modern Gnosticism, blending historical traditions with innovative interpretations that speak to the needs of the modern seeker. The Church identifies itself as a continuation of the ancient Gnostic path, which was characterized by its emphasis on direct personal knowledge of the divine, referred to as gnosis, as the primary means of salvation. Its teachings are deeply rooted in the ancient scriptures discovered at Nag Hammadi in 1945, a collection of early Christian and Gnostic texts that have profoundly reshaped our understanding of these esoteric traditions. At its core, the Ecclesia Gnostica views the material world as a flawed and often hostile creation, a central belief inherited from ancient Gnostic theology. This perspective stems from the idea that the cosmos is the handiwork of an ignorant or malevolent being, often referred to as the demiurge. In contrast to the benevolent and transcendent God of mainstream Christianity, the demiurge is depicted as a lesser deity who crafted the material universe out of ignorance or malice. This worldview creates a dualistic framework in which the material realm is seen as a prison for the soul, a place of suffering and illusion that obscures the higher spiritual truths of the divine realm. The mission of the Ecclesia Gnostica is to help individuals transcend the limitations of the material world and reconnect with the divine source through gnosis. Gnosis, in this context, is not merely intellectual knowledge, but an experiential and transformative awareness of one's true spiritual nature and unity with the divine. This direct knowledge is regarded as the key to liberation, enabling the soul to break free from the cycle of reincarnation and return to the pleroma, or the fullness of divine light and being. The Ecclesia Gnostica's theology places a significant emphasis on the figure of Jesus Christ, who is interpreted not as a savior in the traditional Christian sense, but as a bringer of divine knowledge. According to the Church, Jesus' teachings and actions were meant to awaken humanity to its inherent divine spark, a fragment of the divine light trapped within the material world. By imparting gnosis, Jesus offered a path to spiritual liberation, guiding individuals to see beyond the illusions of the material world and recognize their true spiritual identity. The Church draws heavily from the Gnostic scriptures, such as the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, and the Apocryphon of John, among others found in the Nag Hammadi library. These texts often depict Jesus as a mystical teacher who speaks in riddles and parables, encouraging seekers to look within themselves for the answers to life's ultimate questions. The Church's liturgical practices and teachings aim to create an environment where this inner journey can be fostered and supported. In addition to its Christological focus, the Ecclesia Gnostica also incorporates a rich tapestry of symbolic and mythological elements from ancient Gnostic cosmology. These include the figure of Sophia, the divine feminine aspect of wisdom, who plays a central role in the creation and redemption narratives of many Gnostic systems. Sophia's descent into the material world and her subsequent redemption symbolize the journey of the soul, which must navigate the challenges of the material realm to return to its divine origin. The Ecclesia Gnostica maintains a liturgical structure that mirrors, in some respects, the traditional forms of Christian worship, while incorporating distinctly Gnostic elements. Its services often include the celebration of the Eucharist, which is reinterpreted as a mystical communion with the divine rather than a literal reenactment of Jesus' sacrifice. The Eucharist serves as a symbolic act of spiritual nourishment, reminding participants of their connection to the divine and their ultimate goal of transcending the material world. Another key aspect of the Church's liturgical life is the use of esoteric symbols, sacred texts, and ritual practices designed to evoke a sense of the sacred and facilitate spiritual awakening. The rituals often draw on ancient Gnostic rites, as well as elements of early Christian liturgy, blending them in a way that speaks to modern sensibilities. The Ecclesia Gnostica places a strong emphasis on personal spiritual experience, encouraging its members to engage in meditation, contemplation, and other practices that foster direct encounters with the divine. The Ecclesia Gnostica has gained a modest but dedicated following among those who feel alienated by the dogmatic and institutionalized nature of mainstream religions. Its emphasis on personal spiritual experience and inner transformation resonates with individuals seeking a more intimate and mystical connection with the divine. In an era marked by scientific skepticism and spiritual pluralism, the Church's symbolic and philosophical approach offers a framework for exploring existential questions in a way that transcends traditional religious boundaries. The Church's teachings also address the perennial problem of evil and suffering, offering a cosmological perspective that explains these phenomena as intrinsic to the flawed nature of the material world. This perspective provides a sense of hope and purpose, as it frames human existence as part of a larger spiritual journey toward liberation and enlightenment. Moreover, the Ecclesia Gnostica's integration of ancient wisdom with modern insights makes it particularly appealing to those interested in comparative religion, mysticism, and esotericism. Its open and inclusive approach allows for the incorporation of diverse spiritual traditions, creating a rich and dynamic spiritual environment. Despite its spiritual depth and appeal, the Ecclesia Gnostica faces several challenges in gaining broader recognition and acceptance. Its dualistic worldview, which starkly contrasts the material and spiritual realms, has been criticized as overly pessimistic or escapist. Critics argue that this perspective can lead to a disengagement from the material world and its social and ethical responsibilities. Furthermore, the Church's reliance on esoteric texts and symbolic language can make its teachings difficult for newcomers to grasp. Unlike mainstream religions, which often provide clear doctrines and practices, the Ecclesia Gnostica requires a high degree of personal interpretation and engagement, which can be both empowering and daunting. The Ecclesia Gnostica represents a unique and vital expression of the enduring human quest for meaning and transcendence. By reviving the ancient wisdom of Gnosticism and adapting it to contemporary contexts, the Church has carved out a distinctive niche within the broader landscape of modern spirituality. Its commitment to personal gnosis, mystical experience, and the exploration of divine mysteries ensures its relevance for those who seek a deeper understanding of themselves and the cosmos. As interest in alternative spiritualities and esoteric traditions continues to grow, the Ecclesia Gnostica is likely to play an increasingly prominent role in the spiritual discourse of the 21st century. Its teachings offer a powerful reminder of the transformative potential of inner knowledge and the possibility of transcending the limitations of the material world to realize the divine within.